There we go. So we can look back later and send it to you at the end of the session if you need.
Okay, thank you.
So this particular week is basically any open question you want. So I'm happy to just go over the basics if you want, or if you have any specific questions, I'm more than happy to kind of walk you through those here.
Okay, I guess I'll go first, and this is Chauvin's first webinar. But going through this stuff, Paul, I was curious to see when, like, so for the current platform, you know, if we do an order based on a certain order number, and there's like a, I think let me see, let me log on to the other one. In the work history, I can filter through the work history based on an order that we did that my test bench operator types in, and I can create download all the PDFs that were attached after the testing is complete, and make a package, a document package out of that. Is there a way did y'all keep that function with the new platform? And if you did, can you show me how to run through it?
Yeah, certainly. So that still exists. It's done a little bit differently than the old platform, but still doable. So over on this left-hand side, we have the Forms button here. And if we go to Form Summary, this is going to be all the completed work that we've done on any asset at any point in time. So obviously we want to narrow that down a little bit. For instance, if we want to do specifically, like you can see right now, we have it set to just do for the test bench form. So you would do whichever one you have that called. For ours, it's test bench, it might be IC test proof, or if you have a separate one that you named, you would select it off there. And then you can put in the order number here. So actually, I think test 1, 2, 3 maybe. I'm not positive if this is the right one for it or not. Okay. So but you can search then by order number, and it'll give you all the different ones from that order that are just the test bench ones. And then to export those, you can choose select all as long as you want all the ones from that order. And up in the top right, you can either run a report from it right here, or we can mass action export PDF attachment.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was
the PDF for all of them.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I was struggling in the sandbox. I've got it up and running on my desktop right now, just trying to figure out how to do that, and I wasn't too sure. So yeah, that works perfect. So I think that was the first question I had, and I'm kind of going through an example one right now. Okay, so I've got an order up. I can select all of those, mass action, export PDF. Okay, I guess in the sandbox, our PDFs are not attached, so I can run through our database in the sandbox, but I can't download any attachments because I guess those aren't available in the sandbox.
You should still have the attachments. So if you have one of the ones up right now from this list, go into Details.
Okay.
And then up in the top right, we have this Attachments button, and make sure that you have the attachments already inside here, and that it has some there.
Yeah, I've got that much, but if I click on it, it says file not found.
Interesting. So maybe it might be something to do with the sandbox then if it's like that, because here, this is on production. It's on one of our demo ones, but I'm able to download it and open it up here. It'll load. Yep. There we go.
Right. Yeah. Let me see. The PDF isn't coming. Yeah. The JPEG is not available, or the XML file is not available. So I suppose it's just the sandbox function.
Yeah, I would say I'll double check after this, but if you want to send an email into our support group, we can double check and see if there's something else going on. Maybe that asset got changed or deleted or something, or it might be something to do with the sandbox. So we can definitely go over that and double check, make sure that it's working correctly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Access to a production one as well.
Let's see. Say that again.
Do you have access to a production account as well? Instead of just the sandbox, do you have one that's working with real data?
No, just the old platform. The only link that I was given was the sandbox from Christian a while back to kind of work through. But no, I don't have an actual account set up just yet.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. In that case, yeah, I would say go ahead and send that over to support. We'll double check to see if we can do the same thing on your account, if it's running into maybe a permissions issue or if it's running into like a data issue or something like that, and see if we can get you set up on something where it's a little easier to do it and have it show up correctly for you.
Gotcha. Okay. I think another question that I have is, so when we, like the number of, like, so myself, Chauvin would be included in whatever technicians that we have that would log into the platform or have the mobile app on their handheld. Is there a way to, is our license based on the number of people that use it, or is it like a company wide and we just add and subtract employees as kind of like a DCL technician type thing? Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, so the licensing, as a quick little preface, this is probably going to be best to talk to your account manager for because they'll know a lot more about it.
Okay.
But the basics of how it works is going to be by person. So you'll have set up sort of like this where you have a certain number of licenses that you can give out and then assign them to different people on here of different license types. And so you have as many as you purchase. I believe the minimum required is 5 normally. And then you can purchase beyond that for however many you need. And then each person that's going to be doing work or looking at assets, or sorry, that's going to be editing assets or filling out forms or doing pressure tests, anything like that, they will each need a license to be able to do things. And depending on what they need to do, that'll dictate which licenses you need for them.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. See. I think I had any other questions, or I know that last week you did the basic for me. Chauvin, do you have any questions as you're clicking around on this thing, or any?
I guess I'm assuming in the basic presentation you show like how to do inspections on the new system.
Yeah, you just want to see how to do them. Do you mean on the web or on like a tablet or your phone?
Well, on the web.
On the web, yeah, sure.
It'll be the same on the phone, right?
It looks a little bit different on the phone just because it doesn't it has a different layout for it. So we'll go through both of them actually. Let's see. We'll start here on the web. Turn that off. There we go. So you'll find whichever asset you want to do work on. So that'll be under asset management and then assets. And then you can narrow it down based on if you know exactly what it is, you have the asset number. If you're scanning things in with the RFID chip, that makes it real easy because you can just put it straight in there. Or if you need to narrow it down by like the tags or something, if I know that this is 1 inch, let's see, do we have 1 inch nylon thing? We can do that and then search. It's going to pull up everything here. So I can go into this one, say details, and then go over to the schedules tab down here. And that's going to list all the different forms that we can fill out for this. So we don't want to do test bench right now. Let's do one testing and see what that one is. So on this left-hand side, we have a couple different buttons. And we can go into fill form. When we click that, it's going to bring us to the form itself here. Give it just a second to load the details in. And then it'll have whatever different fields you have on there. So that could include, depending on the type, if it's just a certification or inspection, it may just be a couple small things. If it is a longer form, then you may have to go through and fill out whatever it is, 2 pages worth of information. It just depends on what the certificate is. Does that make sense?
Yes. What about bulk? I remember on the old one, the bulk click and pass. Will that still be available on the new?
Yeah, so you would either use, if it's just a certification, you would use the complete button up here at the top. But if it's a pass-fail form, then exactly like you said, you'll either use the pass or the fail. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Let me go back in and find one of those again here real quick. Is this one pass-fail? Yeah, so this one has the pass and the fail fields. So you would do whatever you need to do here to fill in all the different sections. And once that's done, up at the top, you can either press pass or fail. And it's going to say, do you want to pass just the form or everything? So we can say we want to pass everything, go ahead and pass it. And then up at the top, it says it's passed successfully. So we know it's good to go.
Okay.
Now, if we want to do that on the tablet or on your phone, give me just a second, let me pull up the mirror display so we actually can see it. There we go. So you'd pull up the TeslaLink app, sign in to the account that you want to use. And then once it shows up, you go to the asset page. This is the exact same as what we were doing just a second ago when we're searching for it. So if I go to here, before I was searching up in this top field, here we go, for asset number, the tags, or whatever it is, the RFID chip. It's the exact same thing on here. So up at the top, we have the asset number or serial number if we want to put that in. If we don't know that, we can do tags a little bit further down here and just press lookup, and it gives us these exact same ones. So let's search for the same thing. We did 1 inch, and we did 1 inch nylon sling. Then we press search, and it comes up with one asset. Now, instead of trying to find the schedules tab, up at the top now we have fill form. And that's going to give us all the same list that we saw just a minute ago of all the different ones we can fill in. So if I go to that same one before, the pass-fail one, that's that second one, it brings up the same information. So we have the order number and the customer PO number, which is exactly what we had on this other one. Let me pull that back up here. Up at the top, we have the order number and the customer PO number if we want it here. And then on the tablet, we have the same thing here. If we want to skip those and we don't need them, we can go straight over to the signature page, which just has a place to sign, same as we did before. And then we have the pass-fail section. So we said this one passed, it's good to go. And now up in the top left, we have this pass, or we have the fail if we need it. So we can pass this and press pass, and it says, congratulations, it passed successfully. So it works the same way on both of them. It's the same steps once you're in the form. The only difference is how to get to that form.
Right. Okay, there was sometimes, when we was in Houston, we had a customer that had a question where if we create a pick list, we wasn't able to print that pick list. I don't know if that would be available because you wasn't able to do that on the old info chip. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so. So you wanted to get a list of all the different, whichever assets you want to put on a specific list for somebody to go and mess with, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so to do that, let's see, we should be able to, well, let's just do a general search for now. So this is going to show us all the different results. We could search for specific things if we wanted to, but we can go in and select specific ones. So they would go in and say, all right, we want that one, this one, and this one. And that's what we're going to give to them on the pick list. And then up at the top, we should be able to create new. Here we go. Add to asset list. And then we can make a new one here. So I can either choose one of the old ones. Actually, let's do new 1-5. And then we can assign it to a specific person as well if we want. So I'm not going to do that right now because that's not required. But we have the ones on here. So actually, let's get rid of those extras that were already there. So now we just have these 4 that we selected down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if we put that to my tenant, there we go. We're going to save that. And now if we go back to the iPad here, just a second to bring that back up. It's taking a little bit longer than I wanted to load. Come on. Let me close this out and try again. I'm having trouble getting it to pull up on the screen now. Sorry about that one. But it shows up inside your phone or inside your tablet under the My List section. So when you first log on and it brings you to that home page, you have a couple different options. If you go up to the top left and press that little 3 lines, and then you look in the top part of that list that comes up, there's a button that says My List, and it has a little circle, a blue circle with a number in it. And that number is going to be that list, that peg list for you. So you can take that, go through on here, set up whichever assets you want to put in. And once you choose those assets and you use the one up here to put it in that new asset list, then you'll be able to find it in the tablet. And you can go through and you'll have exactly whatever list was created. And then you can do one for each person.
Okay.
Is there a way to do it from the database online right here, Paul, or is it only available through the phone app?
You mean to view that list?
Yeah, so if you want to view that list that you just made, so new 1 through 5, and say they want an Excel spreadsheet out of that, is that available?
Yeah, so you'll go up to where it says all data here, and I believe this is only available for the tenant admin, but they can go through, find the list. So in this case, it was the new 1 through 5. When I click that, it's going to show these here. So if I want to put this into Excel, I can click this button to select all of those, and then mass action export. View, just a second. Oh, here we go. And then export to Excel, and it's going to send these out. Let's bring this up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Give it just a second to load here. There we go. And so this is what it'll look like. You'll have the asset number here, any tags or descriptions that you have in. It basically just has all the information for that particular asset, times however many assets that you put in.
Okay.
Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, that's on track. If we say we do an inspection of those 4 items for our client, and you do the the operation summary. It gives you a nice little pie chart and what's passed or failed and all the details of it. Where is that located? So if we did those 4 assets, we passed them all. The report, I guess, would be one of those icons in the top right to create the report from it.
So you could either do it directly from there. Let me pull that back up again. New 1 through 4 here. So you would mass action fill forms, and you could choose it at that point. If you do the export from here, it's just going to do exactly what we just had. So you have to actually fill the forms on it. And then once you have that, you can either go into form summary, and you can do what we did just a minute ago, where we exported a whole bunch into a PDF. I probably should have filtered that so it's easier, but you can choose, it would be the most recent 4 once you have that, and you can go up and do reports completed ops form, or if you'd rather, you can go in this top left and go to reports, forms, and then choose it this way. And then you can filter by a lot more things. So you can put in the order number, or say, I only want ones that failed, or I only want ones that passed, or whatever the option is.
Okay.
Those are the 2 different ways. I think most people probably do it through the form summary page, so that you have, because if you're looking just for those 4 and you want everything about them, then those 4 are always going to be the top 4, or however many assets you have. If you have one form times 20 assets, then it would be the top 20 of them. And you can just do those and go straight up to the top and export them that way.
Gotcha. Okay.
And from test bench, you still have to sync. It's the same way. Like if you test something on test bench, you have to save and upload it for the cert to get in the system, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So it's going to be pretty much the exact same. The main things that we changed were performance-based, not actual content-based.
Right.
So from inside the app online, or sorry, inside the desktop app, I'll go ahead and bring this over so you guys can see it. That's taking just a second to go. So you'll go in and find the asset that you want to use, and then fill in a form. The form will be test bench, and then once you complete the actual test bench thing at the end, you'll have to synchronize, just like you were talking about, and that way when you go to the web, you can print it off there. You can, however, preview it on here. So if I go in and I just search, doesn't matter which one we're doing here, let's do a quick test bench for it. You can actually see the certification on the desktop before it gets synced over to make sure everything's okay. So for now, I'm just doing one, but this would work the same if you did it for 30 assets at the same time. There you go. So you get the test bench part. We're going to just do one cycle. We're going to load a 450. And so as you go and you crank up the pressure, you get it up to where it needs to be. There we go. It hits 900. Everything's good for that. I think I have it set for 0 seconds right now, so it's going to be a little bit weird on here. Go ahead and stop that. And so you hit all that. You press save and close. It's going to export everything into here. And then once it does, it's going to ask you, do you want to, oops, what did I do here? Bring that back up. Here we go. So when you click pass or fail, it's going to say, do you want to preview the certificate? And I can say, yes, I do. And when I click pass, it's going to generate that certificate for me in here so that I can view it beforehand. Now, in order to print it off the web, I do still have to synchronize up at the top. Usually that's done like at the end of the day, but I am at least able to view it here. So we have the JPEG on the second page here, and then the extra information on here. Obviously, I didn't put in any information on this part, or else it would also show in there.
With the test bench, you said you upgraded some of the performance issues. Did y'all upgrade so we have issues with using the current software if we've got to do a long hold time on something. Chauvin, correct me if I'm wrong, but the software doesn't allow for us to do that, so we have to use the base software that the InfoChip is hooked up to. Is this new
like
software?
when we try to hold the load for some reason, it like glitches and the graph will drop, but it'll pick up right back where it left off. But we never drop pressure or
When you say a long hold time, how long are we talking? Like 3 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they say, like a 5 to 10 minute hold.
Okay. I have not heard about that from anybody, so I don't know if it's fixed or not.
Okay.
We can definitely double check. That would also be, I would suggest sending in an email or calling in for support line, and we can document that and see. I haven't heard of anybody else doing that, but with the new one, I know we did make some changes to how it works, so it might be changed now. If we set required hold time to, 5 minutes would be 300 seconds. And you're saying while you have the pressure cranked up, it glitches halfway through?
Oh, not even halfway through. Yeah, you can say halfway through.
I'll leave this run in the background, see if I can have it, if I can make it do the same thing on mine while we work on other stuff too. So let's get that up to 900. There we go. I'll just leave that running in the meantime, see if I can get it to do the same thing on mine. My guess is
so right about now, it'll just, that black, the line will go all the way to the bottom, but then it'll just, like, finish going at the top. So you have the graph, you have 2 or 3 vertical lines.
Which obviously doesn't look good when you're giving that to the customer.
Right, yeah, it looks like you got a massive pressure drop.
Right. Have you guys downloaded the newer one? It came out, I guess, last month with all those updates. So I don't know if you got a chance to download the new stuff on there or not yet.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'll send over an article after that goes through step by step on how to uninstall the old one and put in the new one. I know that because we have that new one out, we're not supporting the old one anymore. So if you are having problems with it, those problems were probably fixed in the new one, but they won't be fixed in the old one.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I can send that over after and see if we can get that problem solved just by putting in the new one for you. Plus, as this one goes forward, we're going to be putting in more features for it. So that'll be good to have the new one anyway. You guys have any other questions I can answer for you?
I don't think I do at the moment.
No.
Okay, perfect. Well, in that case, if you do end up with any questions, obviously feel free to give me a call or an email or something, and we will take care of that for you. And if you have any problems with it, like you were talking about, send an email over to the support, and we'll see if we can get those fixed up for you that way.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much both for coming, and hopefully I'll see you on Thursday when we do the next one.
All right, thanks, Paul.
All right.